Funding for The Router Workshop is provided in part by Hitachi Power Tools, manufacturers of a full range of construction and woodworking power tools. A true European craftsman provided the inspiration for today's Swiss chair episode in The Router Workshop. Bob and Rick Rosendahl will show you how to taper the legs with a 45-degree V-groove bit, as well as reveal the secret to cutting angled dowels on the ends of the legs. The Swiss chair, next in The Router Workshop.
Welcome to the Router Workshop. Today, Dad, I think we're going to be building a chair, are we? It's a Swiss chair, and our good friend Godey made the chair, and that's what he does for a living. So we didn't make the chair. And at the back, you'll see Rosendahl chip carved in, and our good friend Wayne did that. But we got some neat things to do here, and these legs are something else, Rick. You're going to get a chance to do that, I guess. Talk about that a little bit.
And they're tied together with a wedge, so we have a little groove that we have to put into them and tie it together, and it's a dowel on the end of the leg. So let's flip it around and take a close look at the leg itself to start with. So we're talking about putting a square piece in a round hole, and that's not all. It's got to be on an angle, a compound angle actually, and we have some tapers that we're going to have to put on the legs as well. And you're going to go ahead and do the seat, and
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Rick. Let's just set it back here. I've got to cut the 4 holes, and I'm not going to use a drill bit.
Right.
And then this is mortised in at the back, so I got to cut the mortises plus shape
lean?
the back.
All right.
Oh, you got to have a little lean on it.
All right.
You
Let's
take the chair and I'll go to work. I guess to start off with here, we're going to start to cut the holes, and I've got a little fixture here I'd like to show it to you. There's the blank that we're using, and we got 4 holes. Now, I mentioned I didn't use a drill bit, but I made a fixture up here to do this with, and I'm going to need a backer board because these holes got to go right through. So we'll slip this backer board in here, and then I'm going to turn it a little bit on an angle here because I got to get a clamp on it to hold that place and yet have the clamp out of the way for the router. So we'll tighten that one down, and then we'll see if we can get the next one over on the other side here, and we'll tighten that one down. Just tighten them down snug in here. It'll be kind of hard to hold, but you know how it is. You put clamps and they're always in the wrong place. When I did make the jig in it, I did mark what size bit I need and guide in case you set it away and hang it on your workshop wall. Then you wonder what it's for. So we'll go back here to the router and have a look. What I've got in the router here is that I did chuck up a cutter, and I've got a spiral bit, and this spiral bit is 1/2 inch in diameter, and it's about 1.5 inches long, so it will cut right through. And then I've got a guide on here, and the guide will follow the hole, the bit will do the work. Now, when we set it up in here, it's just a matter of going inside of here and then cleaning it about. I can see I got a little bit of a problem here that I didn't, when I clamped that on, I didn't pull it up tight to the chair location, I guess. Pretty close. Pretty close. Okay. We'll route them in. Gotta get some power here. And get that plug going in the right direction here. And we're awake. I think we got it now. Now what I got to do is take the pattern off. What's neat about it is that you can always replace the pattern back because it'll go back exactly where you had it because of the location of it. So now I'll turn that over and clean them holes out of here a little bit. That one didn't come quite through there, so it'll just take a little cleaning out. I got one in here that needs clean a little debris out of it. Set that down. We've got the 4 holes cut now for the legs, and they're straight up and down. But the back in here, we need 2 mortises to fit those little tongues on the back of the back to fit in, and it does fit on an angle. So we built a special jig for it. We've got 2 round dowel pins that will go into those holes like that, and when it bottoms out on it, then it gives us this slope we can run the router on. So we need to just pull that over here, and I'll put 1 clamp on it just in the center here, kind of. I might have to move that to get 1 at a time, and we'll tighten it down. Now I can get in there, but what I need to do is make a bit change. I got to use the same diameter bit, but I need a longer cutting angle on it. And we'll unplug that. A longer cutting shank on it, really not an angle so much. Now we'll see if we can get that changed. I'll show you this difference in the 2 bits here in a second. Now you can see the difference in the length. I've only got about 1.5 cutting on here, but I got longer, a 2-inch one, because I have to reach through the fixture in it. So we'll put that one back and chuck it up. Now, get that end inside of here and lock it down. Work with the same guide because the diameters are the same. And pop it in. Now, let's just see here if I got room to work. See how my router's on an angle now? Now we can put those mortises inside of it. The problem that I've got here is I'm going to be stuck in the wrong spot. I'm going to have to remove this again, because if I don't, I'm going to be on top of my table here, and then you'll cut a slot in your router table, and we don't want to do that. So we'll do it this way. Now, I just want to do one little thing here. I want to just check some depth on this. And that should be good. Okay. Lay it back and we'll plug it in. Now it's just a case of mortising it out inside here. And again, we might have a little debris, but it shouldn't be pinned this time. We'll have a quick look here. There's the fixture. And there's the mortises. Let's get rid of the board. Boy, I tell you, I don't know what you'd do without a router, folks. That's at an angle now in there, and that'll receive the back. And Rick's got a real job here to do because he's going to put some dowels on a compound angle in the legs to fit in here. But that'll hold our back. Now, the only other thing we have to do with this is round the outside corners. So we'll set it aside because we're going to have to route the shape of the back. And what I did with the back, we used a little bit of double stick tape in here, and this is the pattern. This is the shape we're doing. I'm going to use that flush trim bit. And the flush trim bit, the bearing at the top this time will follow the pattern. So just a case of going around. But we do have some cross grains in here, so you'll see me when I slow down a little bit, you'll know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fiddle and get by that. Now, what I need to do is put a safety pin in, and I'm going to turn that router so you can have a little better look from your angle there. And I may never need that right off the bat, but I'm going to try to pick it off here just to start. And I got to get the height set. So we'll just see what we can do here. Drop that bit down. See if I got enough cutting edge. Oh, I got it perfect there. Now we'll do is plug that router in. Now we're right. Now I'm going to run into my safety pin, so I'm on here now, so now it's safe to take it away. I'm going to take the pin out of there, and then I can go along because I don't need it till I come back to another start point. Most bandsaws won't even let you in there, never mind having to sand the lumps off afterwards. Now, I need to get inside of here, so we're just going to brush this off a little bit, and we'll clean the inside up. Get that heart-shaped handle in it, and I'll just slip it over the top. Be careful when you put it over the top like that, people, because you want to get the bit so it's clear to start with before you move it into the material. Now, we got the back done. The only other thing we have to do is round some corners off. Let me see what kind of a job we got in here. I just soon let the bit run down. I don't want to lift it off. You might just touch it and put a little chip in your piece. So we'll get it out of the way here. Get rid of all the debris. And there's the nice little cut. Now, let me change cutters in here. Plug the router. We'll put a round over bit in. And we'll pop that up. Rotate that around so I can get at it with the wrenches easier. And we'll make a setup here. Actually, where you'd really appreciate that is when you've got more than one to do. You had 4 chairs or 6 chairs to make for a set, or maybe you're doing like Godey does, maybe 200 or 300 of them. You can appreciate the kind of work that he has to put in there. Now, round over bit. Again, I'm just going to set that up. Quarter round over, bearing on side of it. Locking it in here to take most of its profile up. And we'll do some roundovers. Well, can't do that unless I plug it in, right? We'll start with the seat here. Now, I've got to get rid of this back pattern. I'm going to pull a couple of nails out of here. The reason I put the nails in is because there's screws go in there anyway. And now we can remove that pattern. Ha ha ha. There it is. And we got a little bit of tape in there, but we can clean it off. Now I'm going to start to do this one. Now we've got the inside to do of this piece. We'll let the router run down. Then we'll clean that off. And got 2 sides to do. So we'll set down and do this one first. Now, there's that side. These are the pieces that go down in the mortise. So we got all the pieces ready. We're just waiting for Rick with the legs, and we're ready to assemble.
Well, now I'm going to take the button off the center of this piece and put it on the next one. We'll stick those in place here. You know you can get them in wrong, but what we're trying to do here is put the tapers on the legs, and they go different directions to get the 6th degree. And this is the guide here that's going to be followed while we're making the cuts. So we'll put this back on in the center. You don't have to be right on the money, but you've got to be really close. Now, the next thing we want to check is make sure that it matches. All right. Isn't that a slick way of putting dowel on it? Whoops, I got a little bit of edge there. I've got to do one more. I didn't get it deep enough. One thing neat about this is it cuts the dowel at the 6th degree. Makes it real easy. I've got one more here. We take it off. And let's put this one back in here. Oops. There we go. Check to make sure that we got it. Perfect. Isn't that a quick way of making dowels on the end of a wood piece? On a square piece, actually this one's on a taper. And what we've got, if you notice the dowel is off in the degrees, and what it is it's off 6 degrees. The jig we've used here is we've made a box which matches the tapered piece first, and then what we've done is we've moved the box this direction and in this direction to give it or out this direction to give it the 6th degree. And that's a 60 degree compound so that when the legs sit down, they're going to be out on a taper, 6 degrees on all around. So I'm going to take these off now, and the next operation we want to do is chamfer the legs. So let's go ahead and take off the top, and then I'll take the rest of the jig down, and we'll be able to chamfer the pieces in place. And move these out of the way. Now the next operation we want to do is chamfer the legs. I've already preset and put the chamfer bit in place. It's a 45 degree bit, and it's going to do the chamfering on the corners. The only thing we need to do now is we're going to use a fence to do that, and I'll set that up right now. So we'll take the router and drop it in place. Let's get the fence that we're going to use, which is going to be this one. Clamp it down on the one side. And I've noticed the only thing we're going to have to do is have a start point so that we can get all the legs exactly the same. Because on the bottom, we're going to run it right past. So we'll run the router over so we can have the amount of chamfer that we're looking to show. And not too much. Again, that's all personal. So we'll get the chamfer now. Now let's take the pieces. What we want to do now is decide how much of the chamfer we want to put on it. So what we're going to do is just sort of lay the stick in place and sort of mark us a spot where we want to chamfer from. So we'll follow that along. And all we're going to do is start every piece at the same place. All right, let's plug it in and let's chamfer our sticks. There's the chamfer I put on the legs. Now we'll go ahead and bring the rest of them up here and let's cut the rest of them.
Now it's time for Tips from the Workshop, Viewer Mail, and Tricks of the Trade on Router Bits, Tips, and Wood Chips.
Let's take a look at the leg. We have a 6-degree compound angle, and that moves the bottom foot of the leg out along the outside edge of the seat, giving you more stability. The second thing I want to look at is how the wedge holds the leg to the seat. If we look at it, we've got the wedge cut at an angle. Now, there's some tricky parts to this. I'm going to bring it around and bring it up through the edge here. The really important thing is that where the wedge is put in place and how it's mounted. If you look at the way the wedge cut is made, if you go with the grain on the seat, when you put the wedge in place, it's going to give us pressure this direction, might have a tendency to crack or break your seat apart. So what you want to make sure you do is, when you put that wedge slot in place, is you want to turn it in position so that it's not going with the grain, but it's going across the grain. Now when the wedge puts the pressure on, it's pushing with the grain so it won't break out and bust your seat.
Put a little false top on here again so we get a little room to work, Rick.
I got the legs here.
I'll let you hold the back for a minute.
Okay.
Or do we want to put the legs in here first, maybe?
You should hold that over there.
Okay. Keep this one over there. Okay.
Stand that up. You got the right side?
Yep.
Okay, we'll put one leg in there. You can hold that while we're doing that?
Yep. There you get the compounds there. Look at them things. Aren't they something else?
Yeah, get that one in there. I can't see over there, so I'll let you put that one in. Don't drop it now.
I got it.
We're getting enough pieces here that we're just sort of playing with.
Can you get the other one?
Here we go.
Now, we got that thing there. We got to twist them legs out just so they're right. Now, there really shows that slope up, Rick.
And
so
now we'll put that slope in there.
Goes down inside of here.
All right.
Just like that. And then there's just two
slip the wedges in here and the 2 screws and we're done.
And then we just sand them off flush in here. By the way, can we grab the legs and set it down, Rick, just for a second? Maybe we could show them it's got a flat seat in it. The one we showed you didn't have. It had a carved seat, and this one's a flat one, so you got an option.
We've got an interesting project for you next time right here in the Router Workshop.
We'd like to hear from you. You can email us at the address on your screen. Send your comments, questions, or project ideas to The Router Workshop, Post Office Box 608, Chamberlain, South Dakota, 57325. Or in Canada, The Router Workshop, Post Office Box 280, Ely, Manitoba, ROH, OHO. To learn more about the Router Workshop, visit us at the internet address on your screen. Next time in the Router Workshop, a project as unique as it is beautiful. These are step drawers. Router experts Bob and Rick Rosendahl show you a quick and easy way to use half-lap joinery in the casework, a unique method of box joining the modules and the drawers. Another project that's sure to be the hit of crafts shows everywhere. Step drawers, next time in the Router Workshop. Funding for The Router Workshop is provided in part by Hitachi Power Tools, manufacturers of a full range of construction and woodworking power tools. You can now order router bits, tips, and wood chips, a 45-minute video featuring Bob and Rick Rosendahl's personally selected shop tips and router techniques. To order your copy of this home video for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-803-1449.